Hi, friends. I'm Dawn, like the morning, the owner of Freely Reading. I'm also a College of Education professor and a mother of three, and I'm on a mission this summer to rethink the way we read all summer long. I have book clubs available for our pre-K three. That's a two, three, all the way through adults. And whatever you need for you, yourself, or your child, I will take care of you this summer. I don't want to see the summer slide happen for my own children. And thankfully, they have recently said, hey, I can't wait for summer to start because then I can really read. And what that means is they can read for pleasure. And reading for pleasure is one of the most significant ways to change the abilities and skills of any reader. The idea that we like it is something that is a mindset. And that is what my book clubs focus on. So pre-K, we are doing an author study. We are, gosh, so many things. We do 4 things in class, whether it's the 3-year-old group and their parent, their grown up, or my adults and my college age kids. We read, we respond, right? We reflect, and then we rest. So that, it's called Lectio Divino, right? It's very old style, but basically it's R and R and R and R. And that process of going through Lectio Divina is, and I'm probably butchering that, Lectiva Divina, I don't remember which. Oh, well, if I took the time to edit my videos that were for marketing, I wouldn't get done what I really like to do, which is the back end of my world. So I'm going to share with you, hopefully it works, share, there it is. So get my face off the screen. I do old school, right? I actually show the book, we read the book, we go through the books. We do an author study. That is so dang blurry that it just makes my mind crazy. There it is. Problems. Okay. Whatever we're doing, I'm incorporating science. Pre-K, we're doing an author study. My rising third graders are doing Charlotte's Web. The rising 5th graders are doing Ava and Pep, showing you every other year here. My middle school group is doing the Hunger Games. That's the first book we'll read, and then we'll vote on after that. And my high school kids are going to do a little SAT study with me, and then they're going to get to vote on what they want to read. My favorite book when I was a college age student was Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke. So that's the book I recommend to my college age readers. But no matter what book we decide to do, we're going to write about it. And there are multiple ways to write in my classroom. First of all, I'd love for you to actually get a journal, because we will do the things we need to do to make summer significant and so fun. So besides sharing that way, one of my favorite tools is why aren't we going? I guess I'll do a basic share and then open this up. Yeah, there we go. All right, well, touche, I forgot to load that, so my apologies. Like I said, if I edited all my videos. All right, that is in share mode already. All right. With my grown-ups and the little kids, I collect formative assessment as we go. So you can take notes in the online journal that I've created, or you can do them in your physical journal. But these are some of the things that we talk about. in that book, right? For the little kids, to keep them engaged in something like The Very Hungry Caterpillar. There are things that they get to do while you're working with them from their devices, their tablet, their computer, their phone. So on this slide, they have to take a color and draw which one they are. So they might not be able to read the words sad, mad, excited, tired, happy, surprised. But one of the things that all people need to learn how to do is to identify the facial features and expressions that go along with feelings. So that's what we do in The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Not only do we do that sense of agency, but we incorporate science. I say we because I have tons of extra helpers in the freely reading world that once I don't like when I'm doing a Zoom with a group of students and it's a large group, and then I send them off to do something like turn and tell someone, what does hungry sound like? I put them in like breakout rooms. I want one grown-up for every breakout room. So I have lots of my pre-service teachers and my graduates who are new teachers who are on call ready for whatever age group I need, which is wonderful thing about being a College of Education professor. So they're actually engaging. And honestly, these are the things that could go on all year in a classroom. But if they missed it, if they didn't get their science background, if nobody read to them, if you don't know what to do to get your child to read more or read better, you've come to the right place. So we incorporate one of my favorites. I would have copied this if I had the gumption, but her name is Cosmic Yoga Girl. And she basically reads stories and does yoga with the kids. It's amazing. I love it. That's where I got my idea for Boga, where if you buy book club, you will get yoga class for free. So that's a 2-for-1 right there, right? So every person who buys book club membership at any age gets the yoga membership as part of the package. Group coaching is in there, weekly meetings. On the back end of this slideshow, I can collect the data, right? And all of the strategies that I've incorporated into even just this pre-K book by Eric Carle are the same strategies that they're going to need in elementary, middle, and high school and beyond. And I incorporate the best reading strategies, the ones that prove the longest over time, whether they are classic strategies, contemporary strategies, innovative new strategies. Good teaching is good teaching, right? Period. Doesn't matter if it's asynchronous or synchronous, face-to-face, a hybrid. If you know what you're doing and you use the right strategies, you cannot go wrong in your classrooms, in your homes. And that's why this summer, I'm going to deliver the goods for anyone who signs up. Every single thing we do is reading skill related, but I promise, and I have lots of little kid testimony over the past year, they won't feel like they're in class with a teacher. In fact, they'll say, I had one of my clients, Miss Eleanor, who got in trouble at school for some of her behaviors that are a direct result of her, what I would say is an undiagnosed case of ADHD. The teachers sometimes do the exact opposite of what that atypical brain needs, right? And what I like to say is someone who's taught special education and English language learners for 30 years, what works for those students and the struggling learner and the disengaged learner and the atypical learner what works best for them, the strategies, the scripts, the techniques, also work for the neurotypical brain. So why not incorporate all of the things that make a good reader and a good writer and a good thinker and speaker and listener all into one lesson? That's what I teach my college students, pre-service teachers to do. Like, don't segment science for this 45 minutes at the end of the day where you give some joke of a lesson. Incorporate the health science, the sequencing, all the strategies that these books already have. Every book has a pattern. Every book has a vocabulary. Every book has a theme, right? So every lesson your child gets when they're with me in book club is every single subject under the sun, right? So we have the preschool group up and ready to go. We have the third grade group up and ready to go. This is one of my favorites. We go through poses in the middle of class. We start with one pose, but I end up teaching them all, right? We do the work. If I skip this slide in my classes, my book club classes, we don't call it tutoring. No. Kids don't like tutoring. It's always a struggle to get them to go to tutoring. It's never fun. Sorry, I was a tutor my whole life. I built a business on tutoring before COVID. People didn't understand what I did online, and now I think people get it. And what I'm here to do this summer is to show you that it doesn't matter how many miles or hours are between us. We're friends, period. Once you're in my class, we're friends. We're friends for life. And I've got your back. I've got your back. I've got your kids' back. But let me tell you, I'm supposed to ask them every day, how are you? Let's get up and dance. If I skip this slide, little Miss Eleanor will say, you didn't ask me how I was feeling. So little Miss Eleanor, I was telling that story. She got in trouble for doing something that the teacher thought she wasn't listening. And this is the problem with kids with any type of behavior that isn't 1950s, fold your hands, sit up straight, smile, look at the teacher, slant, all those good tools and strategies that we do need to teach kids to be able to pay attention and sit still. But it is not entirely possible to force it upon a student before their brains are ready. And what I taught Eleanor about her brain is that even during book club, her mom or her grown-up will ask her to stop fidgeting or sit still or to don't do that with your leg. And I'm always reminding grown-ups, watch how she's listening. And then I asked her a question about we were reading the Charlotte's Web book. And boom, she knew the answer. And I said, that is what I want all teachers to understand, is that just because they're fidgeting, just because they're doing something that might annoy you, that doesn't mean they're not listening. It doesn't even mean you're not teaching. But this authoritative, be quiet, don't make a peep, there's no real learning taking place in there. The only thing students are learning is how to obey and follow the rules and follow directions, which, hey, if that's what you want your fourth graders to leave with, good job. But when my students leave my classes, and I taught high school my whole career, I want them to leave better readers, better thinkers, better debaters, better qualifiers, better everything, right? I want them to know who they are, to set goals, and to achieve those goals. And I don't want to use any kind of motivation that is, like punitive to get them to learn. In fact, I like to use their differences and teach them how those can be their biggest strengths. So, Charlotte's Web is full of amazing themes, but it is not an easy book for kids to read alone, even if they're on grade level. So the best thing I can do for that middle group in elementary is to read a difficult book with them and have it make sense. And then hopefully when they get in school, most good third grade teachers know they should read Charlotte's Web for many reasons. There are lessons kids need to know. There are cultural, historical contexts in Charlotte's Web that was this picture. My second grade students, rising third graders, stopped me in my tracks when I got to the page where the brother shows up, Avery. And she says, "Hey, hold on, Miss Dawn. My brother is not allowed to walk around with a dagger and a rifle in his hand." And I say, "Thank you for interrupting me. I'm so glad you said that. Let's put a pin in what we're reading and let's talk about what was just said." That's historical context. That second grade student understood that I'm reading something that doesn't quite make sense in my current reality. Oh, so this is the way the world used to be? There's no one for miles and miles on your land, and you need a rifle to stay safe, and you need a knife to eat, to make your food. Like, we live off the land in Charlotte's Web. They're all farmers, for goodness sakes, right? But how many times do I get a high school senior who can't pass a reading exam, who doesn't even know what I'm saying when I ask, what's the historical context? They're like, who, what? But I got my second graders this past session to understand that books can have things in them that are historically not appropriate for the day, right? But that doesn't make them invaluable or unworthy books to read, right? So I could go on, but I won't. But as you could see, I get very excited about reading. It's my passion to teach teachers how to teach K through 12, even the college teachers, mostly the college teachers. The sage on the stage and the talking head is over, unless you are like brilliant speaker and easy to look at. I don't want, and you have an engaging story, a narrative that pulls me in. I don't care what your credentials are and how many degrees you have. Talk to me like I am a human in the room, not like you are superior to me, because you're not. And that's what is wrong in education. Is there's this, and I teach that in like the basic ed foundations class. Like, there are authoritative teachers and then there are assertive teachers, right? There are all kinds of philosophies. But I'm knowing from what extensive hours, thousands of hours I've had in classrooms, I know what works, and what is fading is that sage on the stage teacher. It doesn't work. You got to give, if you want kids to understand what they're reading, they have to transfer something. They have to transfer the information from the written word through their brains into their heart and then make sense of it. That is not an easy task. So if you sign up for a book club and you're on vacation, that's going to be a question I'm going to get. Or you have a week of a cruise and there's no internet, or whatever it is. I've had them all. Doesn't matter. You can press play on the recorded versions of me reading the book. So this is the video. And the great thing that I have found about making content and video that I've learned from all of my students is sometimes they prefer me in the video than they do in real life. Because when they really want to get the work done, they don't have time for the chit chat. They just want to go and do it. They know that when they go into a chapter with me or reading a short story or a poem, I tell them, it's like we're going underwater for a deep dive. I'm going to give you a mask and a snorkel, but I'm going to expect at times that you're uncomfortable. If you really want to see the deeper meaning behind all the words and the stories and the literature and the devices used, you're going to have to take a deeper dive. You're going to have to hold your breath. You're going to be uncomfortable. But I guarantee when you come out the other end, you're a confident reader. And that doesn't mean, it doesn't matter if we're doing Macbeth, Julius Caesar, studying the Cold War or the Holocaust, or what are some of the other fun ones? We have June 19th, we have World Radio Day. Like, I have hundreds of best standard aligned, Common Core aligned curriculum ready to go for the summer and beyond. In fact, I've always sold B to C, which means to you, the people. But my content got so big and so wide over the past few years, especially since the pandemic, when I had to force pre-service teachers at the universities that I work at to take all the things they were going to do face-to-face and how do we deliver that online so that we know for a fact when we get to the end of this lesson, the objectives are achieved. And then we have the back end data as a teacher, or as if you are the parent, I send you the back end data to track the progress over time. Not only track social and emotional progress, right? But to track, notice the strategies are the same in all of the stories. And that is because I've done enough teaching kids how to read to know that it's all about the vocabulary and getting them engaged in the moment, whether I'm physically there or not. And, Khan Academy, they do this with every skill you need. They do this, but it's not personalized. It is, they've got new stuff that makes it personalized. But what's different about my book clubs is I work with you, the consumer. But due tomorrow, the end of this month, to be ready for the fall school year, I am doing a B2B business proposal for Miami-Dade County Public Schools to be a vendor and deliver their ESE curriculum to their at-risk students across the whole county. So who knows if I'll even be doing book club next summer. This might be the final summer, the last summer. And I hope you'll join me. freelyreading.com. We're going to do read, write, respond, rest, reflect. We're going to do all that stuff. We're going to do it together.